Hello and welcome back to Mzansi. We're back again. It is that time of the night where we have to talk about what happened in that court. Garata, but ratata. Have sworn in my daughter. No, let us first appreciate the defense's hostility towards the man who, in my opinion, disrespects them. Anytime he gets, any chance he gets, tries to disrespect them, in my opinion. So we appreciate their seriousness. It's not even hostility. It's being serious and taking yourself serious when you see that you are being made a clown most of the time, and you refuse to be made a clown. So that's what is happening in that court. And we appreciate it from Kumalo. We saw it it started with the Ramsipile, who refused that so-called judgment that was needed to be read by the defense, as always. But he has never been referred to any judgment of some sort because he's the good child. They are the bad child. They are the bad ones.
He's only referred to cases that will help his argument.
So, yes, we appreciate that. Even in Nxumalo, we must say, he is on point. By no means, I started enjoying from Mnisi up until the end. And Nxumalo is not disappointing. Since yesterday, he's been on point up until today in fighting this battle. That is a very difficult battle, in my opinion, considering the evasiveness that you'd normally they would actually encounter most of the time when they're trying to find the truth. Yes. So that's basically what is currently happening in that court. So as we say that, remember to like the video. Remember to press that like you mean it. And just a moment, there is a subscriber here who says he's finding it difficult to actually go through and make yourself a member. So I'm just gonna explain it, and obviously you would touch base with me on the site through the same number, where I have to explain in terms of pictures if you need it. But most of the time it must be that you are subscribed. So that's the first rule. You must be subscribed, and you also must be using a YouTube app. And that is the second one. So now, after using that and you are subscribed, then you'll see the black join button.
It's next to subscribe. After you've subscribed,
so
you'll see a join button.
Once you click on that button, I'm trying to find it here. Once you click on that button, unfortunately, I cannot share in fear of many other things that we go through. But once you click on that button, then you're going to be seeing join. The join is going to be giving you options. Then you choose those options, whether you want 20, whether you want more than that, you want to contribute more than that. Then you choose that, and then obviously it's going to ask you for a bank account. Very safe. Put that bank account there with no fear. We don't see it. We also cannot see what you are doing there. We only see by the screen that we see here, but like people Lola, and then the ones that you see in blue and also had more than that, because there are others who are moderators, but the green part, it shows that you are now a member. Yes. And if you are
worried about us seeing your banking information,
it is not part of and parcel of what we and our relationship with YouTube. It ends there. It ends there. We don't see anything. We cannot edit anything, cannot steal anything from your card. So do not fear to go through that whole process. It does assist us towards the month, and I know you think 20 rand, what is it? It does matter. If you can, please go through that, and then you take that, you combine it with what Bolindiwe Pembe are currently doing, then it becomes something that we can use to buy electricity, speaking of electricity, we are running low. We are failing to buy electricity because of I don't know whether the ESCOM issue is still the issue. Yeah. So one day, even today, we might be sitting here and then it goes off. Yeah. So that's basically what we're trying to say. It does help to maintain this and also assist us in any way. We appreciate that. We do not look at the amount, but we look at the purpose that you had when you put it there. That's what matters to us. So we're not going to be asking for thousands, and if people can afford that, well and good, and we appreciate it. But even as far as 5 rand, even 2 rand, it does matter here, and we appreciate it. We are happy about it. We appreciate, Jobas appreciate, and Namanje. Thank you, Lindiwe. You always open with a certain amount, and then everyone follows after you started. We appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Who would give you Malengaga for free? We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So I hope I have explained that part. Now, getting into the merits of why we're here, which is now we have to go through that pain when Emily. I know it's harder. It gets harder as the year progresses. Now we are towards the year end, and it's even harder. Even waking up and going to work is still the case. It is harder.
That year end fatigue is
it's hot on top of that in South Africa. So yeah, we are busy sweating up. We are writing and all that. When you try to engage with things that would actually make you feel a bit cooler, they require electricity. And you realize that I already stay in this hotness. Yeah, so it's a mess, but we are here and we appreciate you.
Thank you,
if we start earlier and then I'm on network now, as niggas thinking as out, so we have chosen this time. That it's fine. We will sacrifice. We will sleep. I do sleep on Saturdays and Sunday a lot, even though there are members who still call you even then. But I do sleep. Yeah, so
downtime, even though I just switch off. Like, hi, weekend will do something. It ends up not happening. We are tired. Going through this evidence,
it's hard and it's tiring mentally, and I think it now goes after mentally goes to physical. You have that fatigue. But we're here, guys, and we appreciate you. Because we appreciate you, that's why we are not going to miss anything unless there are circumstances that are unforeseen, that are really, really, really serious. I must appreciate every day and try to assist in anyhow. So, Emil, let's not waste any time. Let us go through without less. I'm going to be less in terms of disturbing you. I'm going to let you chow a chunk and then go further, chow a chunk, and then we discuss. I'm gonna adopt that criteria.
It is a lot to go through, but hopefully I can do it fast enough. Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us yet again, family. Let's go through this cross-examination that Advocate Nxumalo had with Brigadier Kininda. Okay, the first proceedings, so in the morning, the proceedings started with Advocate Baloyi handing in the warning statement exhibits. Okay, there was warning statements from Dhaka Maskop police station, Grafreinit police station, Matsulu police station in Bombela, Nelspruit police station, Annandale police station, and Boysen police station.
They're choosing. Even Matsulu. The last time I heard about Matsulu was when I was watching Skim Sam. It's there, that side of Mpumalanga.
Yes.
So, yeah, let's continue.
Yeah, it was very interesting. So he handed them in this morning, and he said the national policy directives on warning statements, they were waiting for an affidavit that they should receive at any moment from that instance. The judge had a comment and said that in the Marikana incident when 38 people were shot, you as a station commander of Marikana and you wanted to use the warning statement which Mr. Mnisi said that is the only valid one. How do you do it in a police station where you get to work alone? And I was thinking to myself, Ibangati, he's forgotten that with Marikana, the case was actually involving the cops. And they were the ones who were doing the shooting and who shot at the mine workers. Or maybe I forgot. Maybe I forgot. I did hear that there were some who were shooting back, but after the reports came back and you'd hear that most of them were shot in the back, you know, it meant that some of them were running away. I don't know how many of you guys still remember the nitty-gritties of what was happening, that tragic incident of Marikana, but I felt like it was just a terrible example. It has nothing to do
He
with...
has never struck me as someone who's sensitive. That's me. That's my opinion, obviously. Yeah, so I'm not surprised. Examples of people who have passed away until so and so is resurrected and what. Those are things that tells you what kind of a person you're dealing with here.
And then he asked, how do you service 34 people with warning statements? Why would you need to service 34 people that are deceased?
He's going low. Low is talking about such cases, special cases, that even the ballistic expert came and said it was a special case when he tried to deviate to that direction. Now he's using it also. It is a bit of insensitive, but it's not something that I would say I'm not accustomed to now at this point in time. I'm used to it. I'm not even going to make noise about it.
And even Brigadier Gininda in this case as well, he was not dealing with 34 people, by the way. So it's very interesting, this comparison. Advocate Baloy said that this is where the sources will kick in and a team of investigators will be established. The judge then interjected and said, yes, it's obvious. The station commander, if he wants to use that form on the basis that the prosecutor approaches him and requests warning statements in terms of that, or in terms of that form, he will have to delegate. I mean, if he wants to do the job properly, he will have to delegate to senior police. I'm not sure what he's talking about, because here Brigadier Gininda did not delegate the warning statement to a senior police officer, and he's neither a station commander. It was just
he was trying to pave a way for a new way of deflecting from this situation, you know, because it is serious that there was no warning statement that was at the time presented as case. I think they know that the justification to such that you can even do it after 5 years or 10 years, it does not sit well with as far as the law is concerned. Insofar as the law is concerned, so that's what now they are trying to find a new way, as if Gininda was occupied.
Well, he ended up by saying that it was his view, but from a practical point of view, it's obvious someone must delegate. So now I don't know what he wants that Brigadier Gininda should have delegated or could have delegated, and
he's basically saying he should have said that. In my opinion.
Nxumalo then started by wanting to canvass on the events of the 18th of June 2020. He started asking Gininda that after the engagement he had with accused number 2, where did he go after that? And Gininda said that he came back to Gauteng, where he was dropped off, and then he took his car, then went home. Nxumalo asked him, Sergeant Mokhani, I assume he also left with accused number 2. Gininda said, but we didn't live together. I left them there. I was driving with Sergeant Mohola. And Nxumalo then said, on the 18th of June, after you left Western Area, did you at some point talk to Sergeant Mokhani? Gininda said, yes. I think I may not know the time when Sergeant Mokhani spoke to me. It was in relation to the challenges that he was having with the car. It was telephonically, not in person. And Nxumalo asked him, why did you suggest when he reported that he had a problem with the car? Gininda said, yes, I dealt with this part that he should arrange escort because I knew he was accused. He was with accused number 2 in the car. So this is all funny because at some point there was an incident where Ntanzi was alone in the car. When I think about it, that, he was alone in the car and he's said to have had his cell phone with him. Why? That would have been an opportune time to call his family and call for help.
Yes.
All of these, they just make me think and wonder sometimes, we would say, how this picture that you guys are painting is very interesting. Then Nxumalo read the transcribed record of the 7th of September 2023, and he said the stage where Constable Zungu was being led by Advocate Baloyi. He read where Zungu said that he spoke to Muzi telephonically and asked him why his relatives wanted to shoot him, because he didn't know anything about this matter and he did not know anything. Gininda said that he was not sure whether he was supposed to comment or what, and he did not get the question that Advocate Nxumalo was asking him. Then Nxumalo said the gist of my question is as follows. Zungu says that at some point he telephoned accused number 1 and he asked accused number 1 about the fact that there are some relatives of accused number 1 that wanted to shoot him. And then he said accused number 1, he didn't know anything about this. He said he didn't have any knowledge about this case. So what I'm trying to put is to you, Brigadier Gininda, is that Zungu has always been consistent. He said, I highlighted to you the events of the 13th of November 2019 at Telkom Towers, where Zungu highlighted to you that he did not know anything about this matter. Gininda said that the context was not accurate. He said, I understood the 2 meetings as said to be taking place in Captain Park, and that's what I understood. The last part that we dealt with yesterday, and I indicated in my evidence in chief in the trial within a trial that the first meeting I had with Constable Zungu was in the Telecom Towers, and it was after I received from the National Commissioner, which said that there is someone who got information about this matter. After I met him, he gave me information in relation to accused 1 and 2, but coming from his father. Then arrangements was then made that we must get hold of the father. Then the arrangement was then made that we must get a hold of the father. That is the sequence of the events. So he said I could not have asked about any of the accused, including accused 1 and 2, because I didn't know. Mine was to say this is the person that we have been waiting for, and I'm being told that you have information about this matter. Then we started engaging. Subsequent to that, we exchanged numbers and efforts were made to find their father. So eventually on the meeting of the 13th of November 2013, where Brigadier Tony Perumal had 1 meeting. It's not 2 meetings, like how Zungu was saying, where it was confirmed that the father will be available. And the date of the 7th of November now occurred, where the father
He's not saying it's Zungu who says that. He's saying as it is put.
Or is it sport?
Yeah.
Yes. And the date of the 7th of November now occurred, where the father Absalom Zungu came and disposed the affidavit. Gininda complained also about commenting on proceedings that he was not a part of. Okay.
All of a sudden, it matters about the issue now of what is not part of. He has been, for as far as I remember, been touching in all these areas, and it was good. It worked for him. Yes. And I must say that it did seem like they planned for Mnisi, but they did not plan for Nxumalo. They, in my opinion, they were undermining because of maybe what they have been observing.
Yes.
Now Nxumalo is coming with a solid way of dealing with them, and also. You know, things if are not going your way, but yeah, and also it's important to really clap for Nxumalo. I would say maybe he was waiting for this time, which has presented itself, and we really appreciate it.
And it also didn't help by bringing up accused number 4 while cross-examination with Advocate Nisi was going on there. it did not help at all.
Yeah.
Or was it with Ramasepeli? I think it was with Ramasepeli where Brigadier Gininda was now squeezing in accused number 4, talking about how
Yeah, I think it pissed him when he kept on trying to collaborate
and then provoking,
and include. It sort of pissed him.
provoking Nxumalo there. You could see that I don't know what he's doing, but he's absolutely provoking Nxumalo from what he was doing, and provoked him. He did. He poked the bear. He did, and I couldn't be happier. I'm happy he actually did that. Yes, because we were not gonna get this wonderful cross-examination.
No, we were not.
He was just gonna give 5 questions and sit down. You know how he used to do, like an hour. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, he is working his socks off, and we appreciate it. Yeah, guys, let us please press the like button.
Or he would be, I have no further questions. And then he would conduct a cross-examination for like 30 minutes or so. Yo, guys.
We have 386, 191. Please press that like button. We appreciate it as you're doing it. And then welcome to Dipuo. I think it's welcome back or welcome. But thank you for joining membership. We appreciate you. Emmanuel Makanjera from Zimbabwe. We appreciate you and welcome. Yes. And then there was Pamanisa Mutototi. Nxumalo did well against 3 witnesses: the state, the Gininda, and the judge. Yeah, that's very fun.
It was him against 3 witnesses.
Yes.
Well, he also said that snapshots of the proceedings are what he was given, or what Advocate Nxumalo was giving to him. And he said that he does not have the entire complete record. He said he wanted the entire record, and he said that the best person to answer what Nxumalo was putting to him was Constable Zungu. And I was like, here again, trying to tell Nxumalo how to conduct this cross-examination. And he's trying to create that other opportunity to introduce more hearsay evidence from the witness. He's trying. There's a whole read everything fully into the record nonsense. I don't understand what business he has telling a defense attorney to do that, because he's supposed to answer questions that are put to him. And if he doesn't understand the question, ask for more clarity. To make lawyers and instruct them to redo entire records, that's not his prerogative.
Yes.
Then Nxumalo completely ignored him and carried on to the next question. He said the issue of Absalom Zungu came through Constable Zungu on the 13th of November 2019, and Gininda said that's not what he said. Nxumalo rephrased the question to, how did you know about Absalom Zungu? Gininda repeated what he said about receiving the call from the Office of the National Commissioner, blah, 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 blah. The involvement of accused number 2 was brought by Zungu's father first here in Pretoria, where he mentioned that this is the information I have, but I got it from my father. I then said I need to speak to the father as the author of this communication. The meeting of the 13th, it was a follow-up of numerous discussions that they were having telephonically, but also check on him and whether he was able to convince his father to come through. Somewhere he said they lost contact, and that is where now he had to phone Major General Lishabani, because he knew those members were working under his cluster, and he assisted him in finding Constable Zungu. Then subsequently that meeting of the 13th occurred, where the confirmation of the meeting of the 17th of November 2019 was then confirmed. It was not only on the 19th, it was a follow-up meetings as well. So Nxumalo asked him, on the meeting you had with Constable Zungu and what his father knew, was it in relation to accused 2 only? And Gininda said it was in relation to accused 1 and 2. Nxumalo asked him, so he said his father Absalom had information about accused number 1 and 2's involvement. Gininda said yes, it's in his statement, and on the 17th of November 2019 his father came through and gave a deposed an affidavit. So Nxumalo then asked asked him, the meeting you had on the 17th when you met Absalom Zungu, where was Constable Zungu? And Gininda said Constable Zungu brought his father. He left the room when he interviewed the father, so he was not part of the interaction, even the taking down of the statement. Nxumalo then asked him, is it correct that on the 31st of May 2023 you obtained a statement from Constable Zungu? Gininda said, I may not remember the date, but yes, last year I obtained a statement. Then Nxumalo asked him, why did you obtain the statement of Constable Zungu? Where were you with Constable Zungu? And Gininda said that in their offices, that's where it was obtained. Nxumalo then asked him who was present. Gininda said that he does not recall. He said that it was not just the two of them. There were members, police officers who were there as well. So Nxumalo then asked him, was it in the charge office or was it in your office? Gininda said that he doesn't work. It's their offices, but it doesn't comprise of the charge offices. It's specializing, so they have offices and they have a ballroom, but I think he meant boardroom, which is part of the police building. Okay. So except for him and Constable Zungu, Gininda said that he does not recall, but it was not just him and Constable Zungu. And Nxumalo went to the typed statement of Constable Zungu, Exhibit AA. Nxumalo then asked him, who typed the statement? Remember that statement that was typed that got in via the what and we had a problem with it on the channel, with that typed statement. We had long conversations and discussions about how wrong it felt to be admitted, considering the fact that it was done during the trial, as the trial was taking place, number one. Number two, Zungu had mentioned something about him having a prior statement to this typed one, and then he was even sent to KZN because he said that he left it in KZN at Kwanongoma or something like that, and then they offered for him to be escorted over the weekend to go fetch it, and then when he came back he said it was shredded. It was notes, and those notes were shredded in Brigadier Gininda's office. Do you guys remember that story? That testimony? Well, Nxumalo asked him who typed that statement. Gininda said that it was one of the members in the office. Hence, he said that he was not alone. He just can't remember who it was, but it was typed at their office. So what I remember from Constable Zungu's testimony is that it was typed in an office at the Pretoria North Police Station. From my recollection, I could be wrong. And also he said that there was a female who was doing the typing. It was a female. It was a woman. So Nxumalo then said, so Constable Zungu would be relating to you or making a statement to you, and there will be a member who will be typing the statement or whatever. Then Constable Zungu was telling you. And Gininda said that how to commission the statement, it was typed, and then you go through it with the deponent, whether it was written or typed, and when the deponent agrees that is what is contained is correct, and that is when the commissioning is done. It's relevant as to who is typing it. So my question now becomes, why did you not type it yourself? Because Zungu said that there was a lady who was typing there. Whether that lady was a police officer or somebody that you know or somebody that you got off from somewhere, we will never know that now, won't we? But then why didn't you just type the statement yourself? Why did there have to be another party doing the typing for you while you are the one who wanted and needed to ensure as the lead investigator that you're getting the correct statement, the correct theory, word for word? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I could have took it if he said there was an interpreter, okay, and then he was doing the typing or writing or something, or watching as Zungu was doing the writing or the typing himself.
Yes.
But no, that's not the case. things are done really funny. Then Gininda said even an individual can make a statement at home on his or her own time, then take it to the commissioner of oaths to have it commissioned. Then they will make that person take an oath. It does not mean that the commissioner must be the one writing the statement or typing it. Although this happens, but it's unusual for criminal cases where you are either a witness or you are someone who saw the events as they happened. Usually the police would want to get as much uncontaminated, accurate evidence. So they wouldn't rely on you going home, writing your own version and then coming. Usually that's not how it works. That's my opinion. But the way he's putting it is comparing the situation of applying for NFSAS or going to write an affidavit for a contract to becoming a witness to a criminal activity, which is weird for me. We know that there are different, you can write an affidavit in your own comfort and then go to the police station or go look for a commissioner of oaths to commission it for you. However, when it comes to you being a witness to a crime, the ball game is different, right? So he says that because the statement, and I'm also thinking about testifying in a court of law. If you know you're going to be appearing before a judge, the likeliness of you going and writing a statement on your own, even without the presence of a lawyer, is very rare. Where you just go and like a homework project, you go and you write what you can remember about what you saw, and then you,
it's rare.
Icon. It doesn't make sense to me. I've never seen it. Maybe there are instances where it happened, but if it happens like this, then I'm very worried about our criminal justice system. I'm worried about how police are conducting criminal investigations if this is what they do. So I'm going to need a little bit of clarity on that. So he says that, what else did he say? With regards to this, he said that when Nxumalo asked him when Constable was making this statement, was it something from his head or was there something that made him to refresh what he told you? Gininda said that Constable Zungu had some notes with him. So Nxumalo then asked him what was contained in those notes, and Gininda said he didn't know. He left with those notes after having confirmed his statement to be true. Gininda said Zungu left with those notes. It was not a statement, but some form of notes. Because Zungu testified that those notes were shredded in his office. Nxumalo asked him what happened to those notes, and Gininda said that he left with them. He said Zungu left with them. So Nxumalo said in the statement that was made by Zungu, the typed version, is there anywhere where he mentioned his father, Absalom Zungu, as the person who had the source of information regarding accused number 2? Well, Gininda said no. One will have to go through the statement. The purpose of the interview was not about his father. His father's part was done. They had left that part. It was insofar as his name coming up in the interviews or the statements that were obtained from the likes of Makosonke and the likes of Gwabini Zungu, and where he said to him, but your name keeps coming up. Then he said to me, yes, I was there. And when I wanted to establish why, he said he was scared to come forth, and he indicated what he recalled, and what he recalled is self-explanatory in the statement he gave to me. So this also reminds me of how I speculated and I could sense that Zungu's actual reason for this separate statement that he did during the trial in 2023 that came in typed and had no original source of notes or whatever, that were destroyed and shredded. And you have to also remember that the names were mixed up of the accused. Now, in that statement, now I had a speculation that it seems like this person or Constable Zungu was there to be placed at the scene. His statement is coming in because now he's testifying to seeing these people at the hostel. But although he was not there at the scene, he came to the conclusion that they had committed the crime, and then alleges that accused number 1 told him that that was what they did. So based on that...
So in a sense, in a nutshell, there is nothing without accused number 2 in this court, basically.
Yes.
No matter how you look at it, the so-called confession of accused number 2
To
Ginina didn't
explain.
have anything.
It will explain also this robustness that we are seeing towards him. Accused number 2. Yeah. She's really the anchor. So Nxumalo then said the issue of Absalom Zungu is not in Constable Zungu's statement. Gininda said that he was failing to find the relevance of why he would ask him about his father. He brought his father to me earlier and he said I knew the aspects, and then subsequent to that efforts were made to find the father. Why it must be in the statement, I don't understand why I should have included that part. Then Nxumalo asked him, is it not in his statement that on the 13th of November or something before the 13th of November or sometime before the 13th of November 2019 that he had mentioned the issue of his father having knowledge about the involvement of accused 1 and 2. And Gininda said the issues of the 13th of November were preceding the statement of Constable Zungu. When Constable Zungu made a statement, it had nothing to do with what happened previously. Gininda reiterated that what made him approach Zungu was because his name kept on coming up when the issue of the hostel was being dealt with. Kumalo then said, am I right, Brigadier, that it was known to you, but it was not known to the accused, and it was not documented in the statement of Zungu for us as the defense to consult with the accused? Well, Gininda said, my lord, I'm failing to find the relevance as to why. I'm repeating it again that this name came up in the evidence relating to the gathering at the hostel. I approached him and asked him why he didn't tell me about this. He told me that he was scared. If you look at Mr. Absalom Zungu, he does mention that he told his son about the information he had about the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. Gininda said that it was mentioned in the statement. It was not a new assertion that is being said by him or Zungu. This is very interesting. So Absalom Vele Gininda couldn't get him to come and corroborate.
Yeah, look, it's not on the Absalom. So you know how easy it is to actually see this case about flaws on this case. Once you're not called, then you are a wild card that really they do not know, in my opinion, how to contain it. So they would rather not have you coming through them and then turn against them, like Butelis did.
Yeah, I think maybe that was the plan, perhaps to force them. But after Butelezi, the plan kind of changed. Because Butelezi no begangas buy, Butelezi
eventually. If you go, I want the icon, man. This is not how I play.
I'm under oath. Whatever will be after this, but icon. Watching someone I know literally
care about.
Go down. Someone I used to spend time with, literally going down. No. Well, then Kumalo said that at the time when you approached Constable Zungu, you did not have the section 205 of accused number 3. Gininda said, yes, that's why I want to put it into context. Have it and put her into context.
That's when
the context is more confusion.
Is when it's going to explain a whole lot of nothing.
Well, he said what we didn't have was the section 205 that covered the date of the incident. And Nxumalo said, so the section 205 of accused 3 were in respect of the Cleveland case and by Sergeant Dlamini. And Gininda said, insofar as the Cleveland case, yes, but not covering the date of the incident in the Meyiwa matter. But they were requested by the same team. He now said that there's another section 205 that was requested by the same investigation team of the Cleveland case, accused number 3 in a different case number. This date comes before the Cleveland case, and they could not find that information under Cleveland case 96. So this is tricky because if they say that from 636 they requested the section 205 from Pinkifa and Telengem, then it would mean that the 3-year time period had lapsed, right? So how did they get that section 205 of accused number 3? That's why it is now...
What was the question again? Sorry, repeat it.
Like, now, I get it. They had said that the Section 205, they got it from Pinky testifying. Do you remember that objection?
Yes.
That was raised, and then Advocate Baloyi was saying that it's not true that Advocate Mnisi, they were given the Section 205s of accused number 3 at the beginning of the trial. So, namhlanje ke under cross-examination with Nxumalo.
Yeah.
Brigadier Gininda is saying that there was another case that they had the Section 205s besides the Cleveland case.
The Tembisa
but it
case.
Was the same investigation team. He's calling it the Alexander case.
The Alexander case.
Yes. So he's saying that they pulled the Section 205s from that other case. But even if they still did that, it does not change the fact that by 2020, they had access to the Section 205s. Does it change?
Of what? Change what? To the fact of that they had access into Section 205?
Yes, of accused number 3.
That's what they are trying to say. They are saying they were not aware it was there. They are saying it was not there. They were not aware it was there.
So they're saying that they were not aware it was
They
there.
admit it was there through other cases, but they were not aware. They did everything with regards to the gun and everything, but they did not bother to check the Section 205s.
I'm very fascinated about this twisting on this changing of why. What is behind it, Mr. Anonymous? Maybe you know a little better. You can see the light as to why is there denial against the fact that this Section 205s were available prior to the
it's simple.
case
That one does not even need this sangom. I get it. Section 205 is exonerating. I told you. Is in any sense exonerating accused number 3.
Also, they would be in trouble for still proceeding and going forth with the
exonerating
after the Section 205 exonerated.
And I still maintain the other part that I do not believe that this 5-year Pinky story is the true reflection of what could happen. I still cannot fathom how this happens. That information just disappears after 5 years. I can still not fathom that situation. In my opinion, as you are hearing them scrambling to explain how they acquired this Section 205, I feel like they acquired it there from Bink. Not because it was reserved, because at some point it was sampled or something like that. No, direct from the system.
Yes. Maybe she did give it. That's her speculating by that.
But then it will be suicidal to bring other people's Section 205. Even more dangerous, if you ask me. It would actually collapse the whole case. So they didn't choose this one. It was already there. So the feeling was that if we don't bring it either way, they will come with it. You know, but with others, they are sure. Pinky, this is the case, so no one will ask anything any further, in my opinion.
Well, Nxumalo asked him, when did it come to your knowledge that there were Section 205s of the number belonging to accused number 3 that Sergeant Lamini and Sergeant Masondo had applied in respect of the Cleveland case? Gininda said that it came to his attention when the identification of accused number 3 as being the first suspect after the existence of Exhibit HH and JJ. He's referring to the confessions. Where he started the analyzing of who is this person. This is after the confession of accused number 2. So Gininda said that it took them to the Cleveland case and Alexander case. Then under that case, the Section 205s and the downloading was done. He said that this was all done in 2020. And still Advocate Baloyi has convinced or was trying to convince the court that they waited for Pinky Faintelengem to testify and pull those Section 205s from 2014. Even forgot about that whole 3-year expiry period that he was talking about. matata, inkatazo. So I was like, no way. So
they almost threw themselves under the bus. And you know what? This is where I must really, really applaud Nxumalo. Followed that evidence nicely, like a dog with a bone. Nicely.
So
Nicely, because they were about to say they were able to pull that section 205, and then they realized along the way that Kumalo was just behind them, just chilling. So you pulled it, so you pulled it. This is where you know that the guy was alert, was awake. He was not just pushing the questions that he prepared, because other questions, this is now, I agree that at some point he could have been a prosecutor.
Yes.
Because that's how you check even in this. That's how they are able to adjust to the situation, and according to your answer, they are able to adjust.
They don't go full script. Some of the things they pop up with the answers, and then you follow up. Must follow up on the funny things that you are hearing.
We were about to hear a different story that we pulled it, and it was gonna go on record, and that's it.
So Nxumalo then told him that you went through the expiry, not the expiry, my apologies. You went through the section 205s, and then you realized that they did not cover the date of the 26th of October 2014. So Gininda said that he did indicate that he did know that the section 205 did not cover the date of the incident. He said that there was also an analyst, Kennel Steyn, who informed him that their work would start from the records of November going forward. But here's the thing. Steyn, when he testified, he did not say such. In fact, he had a data of accused number 3 on the 26th of October 2014.
Yes.
He had the section 205, and he said it came from the Cleveland case.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That is an explanation.
That's the unfortunate part of the situation. And I don't recall the defense standing up and saying we don't have the section 205 from the Cleveland case. I agree, you know how they do when they don't have stuff.
Yeah.
We don't recall that. Even Advocate Baloyi did not say anything. So now we are being made to reverse. We are being reverse psychologized to say no. It became available when Pinky testified. I refuse to believe that. I'm sorry. Then Nxumalo said, so what did you do when you realized that you did not have the records? Gininda said, we approached the networks to see if we could get the records, but the said period had lapsed, so we were unsuccessful. Haibo. Haibo. Nxumalo then said, so when does the...
You know the funny thing? I'll ask a simple question. When was this? Did they approach Pinky after they've approached Pinky with regards to other accusers?
Section 205.
Section 205? And if that is the case, and if that's a feeling I'm getting, if that is the case, they were already told most that this... You cannot actually pull such information if you have 5 years that has lapsed. Why would you go further to do that?
Well, Nxumalo says, so when does the existence of the records that cover the date of the incident come to your attention? And Gininda said during Ms. Baintelingem's consultation with Advocate Baloyi. Nxumalo said if the window period had lapsed, how was she able to retrieve those records? And Gininda said that the team of investigators in the Cleveland case and Alexander case made the requests of the Section 205s during their investigations. So Pinky Baintelingem is the one that found them. So Pinky is a miracle worker. Pinky pulled Section 205s that the investigators of the Cleveland case did not request initially.
This is why I'm saying that there is a huge gap of an unexplained situation that is currently happening. He's saying they are pulling it. He was able to pull it. She was able to pull it because it was reserved due to the fact that at some point it was asked by the Alexander.
The Cleveland case.
No, Alexander.
Oh, the Alexander.
That's the one that was upset. Remember, the Cleveland came short in terms of the date. So the Alexander one. When was Alexander's situation? When did it happen? Is it after the Cleveland or before the Cleveland case?
Maybe it was before. I'm just guessing. A wild guess. Before the Cleveland case. I'm just guessing, Nakon. I'm not sure. So Nxumalo then said
No.
It was after.
It couldn't be. And I'll tell you why.
Why?
He was arrested for Cleveland case, right?
Yes. Yes, he was.
We never heard of how the Alexander situation happened.
No.
We don't have a story of an Alexander investigator who came to testify like the Cleveland case.
No.
So it's neither here or there. It could be one of those cases that exist but don't exist, in my opinion. It could exist, it could not exist. Normally, what we have seen in this court, anything that seems to solidify the case against these people in a sense that they are criminals, it will be brought into this court, such as the Cleveland case. Yes. So this one has been wishy-washy in terms of how it is brought into light. So it's there, but take it with a pinch of salt. Do not just take it. It's there. It could be there, but I can surely tell you, because we remember the events of how it happens with the Cleveland case. Yes. But the Alexander one is not clear. The story is not told fully. Yet the information eventual now is coming to aid because now it's Alexander. So I feel like the guy was arrested for Cleveland case. And in fact, you can actually argue that was the case. I can't even argue. There's no point in arguing. The gun that he was caught with is the gun that is used here. So if he was arrested for Alexander case first, the gun would be seized there.
Or it would be seized
and again
case.
So he was
true.
So he was probably arrested for Cleveland case
first.
And then the Alexander happened when he was inside.
Okay.
So then that would mean, this is where I'm going with this argument, that would mean this section 205 that is catering now for October would have been asked after the Cleveland case had already happened. And when would that be? That's my question.
When would that be? When was the Alexander case?
When would that be? So right, let's do this. Ansu Kemo, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the gift. We appreciate you. We see you even now. You have done it again. I'm still thanking you for the other one. Yes, thank you very much. We appreciate it. It's been a while. We missed you. And then we go to Prudence Sibanyon, who say, I was relieved when the judge clarified the issue of DNA. And I'm sorry, Sibanyon, I do not understand why you were relieved. I'm not attacking you, because to me it sounded like a whole of nothing. He just repeated exactly what he said the last time. Inconclusive.
He did.
If you listen to everything, you close your ears and then towards the end you just listen to inconclusive. And almost got Kumalo, because he almost sort of went along with the theory.
Yeah.
And then he changed. He said, no. It's excluded.
It excluded
so
them.
The inconclusive
do
part.
Even have doubt about
the
it.
inconclusive part that Ginindi now is dwelling on, it was started by the judge.
Yes.
There is no inconclusive without the judge. The judge is the one who was sure and speaking freely that the inconclusive, this was inconclusive. That's what the expert said. And then now the theories around that to show you that this case is not as old as people do think. It's fairly new. In fact, it is younger than a year, to say the least. younger than a year. Some of the things are things of now that you'd expect to be fixed. People should be talking about years and years of what they were doing, but are things that are answering the situations that are happening now. That's where you realize this case is younger than people would like to believe. It's old and whatnot. It's younger, right?
Yes.
And then, so that leaves a cloud over the accused in terms of the DNA. The DNA is still there. Like it or not, DNA is still there. That's why Ginind was talking about this and that. And you go to Google. I don't know if they also use that. They should use that. You know, the guy, in fairness, the guy who was testifying about the inconclusive, the excluding, the excluding.
Judge who brought it
The
up.
guy did explain why you would sometimes find the other regions being there because we are Africans.
Yes.
He said that in court. But look, it's not being
We are
used.
all
This is where
sub-Saharan
I wish
Africans.
Bomnisi and Nxumalo could argue that. The record should be, find that part in the record where he says, you do expect, my lord, now and then to have a bit of similarities.
People
Some
are
of
from
the
the
regions that
same
have
ethnic
yes,
group.
yes.
They were from the same region, Bantu.
Considering
so some
that,
regions.
considering that house, for example, was full of Zulus.
Yes.
Not saying that Longoyo Zulu, but mostly Kumalos and everyone, and
yes,
even Tumelo.
Ntogo.
So
yes.
it was full of Zulus. You test it against the guys who are Zulus. Most likely, now and then you are going to pick them up there and there. So that's what the guy was. He did say that in court.
Yes.
I could be wrong, but that's what I heard.
That's what he said.
So I'm surprised when they are confronted with this. There are others that are included. They do not use that point of exit to say, but yeah, he said you would expect that to happen. I mean, that's how your lineage and everything is tested, most.
Yes.
Yes. It's not gonna say
where
yes.
you come from, where your ethnic group is. You know, there's this DNA testing in the West where people want to know from Africa which
side, yes, which country they're from.
They use the very same criteria of tracing back DNA to find out from which part of Africa does your DNA most align with.
So I don't understand why they they do not use that.
It does not mean that because
it
matches, you are the person. It's you. No. DNA works. Either it's a match or it's not a match. It cannot be half 2% match. It does not work like that. It's either 99.9% or it's not a match.
So the judge is talking about acquitting. Wait until he reads his judgment.
It's gonna be a mess when it comes to.
That's when you're gonna be smacking that TV because he's gonna be talking about the very same thing that Gininda is talking about.
Yes, he's gonna be using this whole inconclusive argument of his to justify something
why you
that
judge
is not
against.
true.
Yes.
You know, it's very crazy how they're holding on to this theory.
Yes,
of
the
theirs.
defense when Gloria Beck, the defense is working together nicely, and I like it. It is actually making them look more polished, more good. Yes, they are working together. Jose Tsile, thank you very much again on your side, and welcome to membership. We appreciate you and your gift also. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose Tsile. Thank you.
Jose Tsile.
Yes. I'm like, they are holding on to this DNA thing. And the tricky part about it as well is how he is confusing fingerprint identification to actual DNA testing.
He is not confusing it. He's doing it on purpose.
He's comparing it.
For me, he's doing it on purpose.
Seem like it's one type of test that is being run or fingerprint.
That's what this guy has been doing all day. He comes with something that is going to distract you, and then he makes an example, a joke that is not fun, a dry joke, and then Let us
you end up saying,
let's go to
yeah.
break.
Yeah.
And I liked when Nxumalo refused to agree with him.
And said no. He did well in that. He did well. It was all.
I also liked when Ramsey Pire refused that judgment, because by accepting it now you need to adhere to it.
So Nxumalo then said, in terms of the section 205 of accused number 3's number, it has come to my attention that the case query was created on the 9th of March 2015 at 10:34:20. So it says that these records were available, and Gininda said yes, they were, and that is why Pinky Faintelengem was able to retrieve them in their archive. There's an archive now, guys. There is now an archive.
That's what I've been saying, that they should always, every system must have a backup.
Now there is an archive that can pull way before 3 years back.
No, they are saying, remember, they will justify it. I mean, don't get excited. They will justify it. And that's why I approach it in that manner, which case was this accused arrested for eventually. This is the case. So it could have been further down the line that they went to find the records later on, which is a different story for another day. So, but that one of archive, if you remember very well how they explained it, Pinky said, if you happen to request
a section
205, that section 205 is archived.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I remember that.
Yes. So, because it was requested, by virtue of it being requested on Tembisa case, Alexander case, yes. Therefore, it was archived. So that one, there is an exit point.
But why would? But hey, let me leave it because I don't know the details of this Alexander case.
This is where you need to dwell on, because if you are going to attack it on that procedure of saying that you must understand, Pinky will come back and say, I told you. I got it from, I said it on record, and Balo will say, my lord, I think this has been canvassed. My learned colleague, if you can read the record, this is where Baloyi is asking, Mr. Baloyi asking what happens to section 205 that has been requested, and then this is Miss Pinky answering, saying it is archived, my lord, and I think my learned colleague should apologize. So don't take that direction.
The impersonation of Advocate Baloyi, Mr.
Should apologize.
Spot on. Well, he said,
you will find yourself apologizing instead of winning that argument. You just, yeah, I listen. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, that's what he said.
Judge Fakazile.
The record is clear.
Allegedly. He said we couldn't find them. Even the analyst, Kenneth Stein, could not find them. They were not stored under the Cleveland and Alexander cases for reasons unknown to us. They are relevant to those cases, but you will not find them when you analyze those cases. So Nxumalo then said, is it correct that when you consulted with Constable Zungu, he could identify accused number 4 in the photo album from Nube's phone? Gininda said what Zungu saw in the album and who he identified in the album. And Nxumalo went to accused number 4 after accused number 4 raised his hand. And then Constable Zungu, he came back and said, Constable Zungu told you that the person appearing on the screen on photo 7 is accused number 4 before the court. Nxumalo asked that photo 7 be beamed in court, and now Gininda was telling us that Constable Zungu did not refer to the exhibit numbers, that he referred to a number. Gininda said he did not have the court record, and he referred him to the photo album as contained in the docket. Now he was telling Nxumalo that he will see the correlation, that he's being referred to an exhibits of the court, and he said that in A number, Nxumalo will find the right picture, which is not that picture, photo 7, that he was displaying. You know what the problem is here? The problem here is that Zungu identified accused number 4 in that very same picture that Nxumalo was displaying. Now, Brigadier Gininda is telling the court that Zungu was using a different numbered photo and in a different pic, does it mean that the pictures are the same or not? You know, that's where now I'm like riddled.
And then he's
that.
saying no. In any case, everyone had seen they had seen these things. The accused. Sorry, not these things. The accused. So he's running away from something.
And now I'm starting to feel like, okay, this is starting in my speculative mind. It's giving, we rehearsed with Zungu. The pictures were in the docket and they were in this format. And then somehow when he came and testified in court, he started pointing at accused number 4, and accused number 4 was not even in that photo. Did you understand what it's giving? It's giving, if he pointed at the wrong person, then it means Zungu does not know these people. Do you understand what it's giving?
Obviously, they did. In my opinion. My foot.
This is me speculating. I'm not saying that is true, but that's where my mind now started taking me. That what's the big hoo-ha about?
Because the picture was not there.
Well, Nxumalo said that he was confused by the A number that Brigadier Gininda was referring to, but then Gininda said that he would look for it in the docket. The judge now also started throwing a tantrum. In my opinion, I interpreted that as a tantrum, asking if it was discovered, since Nxumalo said that he had not seen it before. And he said that that is the problem he has with councils. Now he must go look for what they have. Now he was trying to spin this and make it the defense's fault.
Yeah.
And Nxumalo maintained that he had not seen it. He honestly didn't know the pictures that Brigadier Gininda was referring to. And why does it seem like he's the only one who's got photos that are labeled differently to everyone else? And the judge said that he will adjourn so that the defense can familiarize themselves with it. Otherwise, it would be a waste of time.
With something they should have familiarized themselves. That's me being verbatim.
Yes. As a jab verbatism. Yes. So I had my few 2 cents to say, Advocate Nxumalo, worry not. When the judge throws these tantrums, you should know by now that you are backing up the right tree.
You are shaking it.
The tree is shaking.
Yes.
Do not worry, smile, because you're headed in the right direction. So after that short adjournment, Nxumalo said that from what he had, there was a sequence in the numbering of Exhibit S. Gininda said that photos of accused 4 in his file were not in sequence. Gininda said that in his page 1 of Exhibit S, for him it was page 23, and it depicted the picture of accused. He needed time to correlate it.
Collaborate.
Yeah. And Zungu identified as one of the photos of accused 3. It depicted accused 3 with Mabungu, one of the relatives of accused 1. Gininda said there's not only one photo, there's a mix-up in what he has, even if it means they did another download of the disc, of the original disc. Now he was asking for the re-downloading of the original disc. Gininda said accused number 4. It's common cause because the matter appeared on TV. The accused appeared from the 27th of October 2020. Anyone in public would have known who these people that are accused are, particularly Constable Zungu knows them from the homeland. So now we are being told that he knows them. Why must you tell us that he knows them? Is there a problem, Mr. Gininda? Is there a problem? Is my speculation on to something? Why must now you tell the court that he knows them from the homelands? And he says there would not have been a reason why he would miss all the numbers and identify the wrong person. He also said that he does not have 170. And then the judge asked Nxumalo to give the brigadier time for him to arrange the photos in the way that he says Zungu was identifying
when he
them.
realizes the problem now, other problems with them, he is not angry.
No.
Give them time like exam. Give them time.
No, he's not angry at them at all. So he said that they needed that time so that he has something that is consistent with the affidavit of Zungu. He said that the mix comes because the guys were taking out the photos. Yeah. Hi guys, hi Siavele, like I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, it's because they were mixing the photos. Like yeah, they were mixing the photos.
Thank you.
Brigadier Gininda said that if there was a mistake, since Constable Zungu testified in court in terms of the numbering, if he was led about the sequencing, then he would have rectified it. So the record would speak for itself. He must have been taken through those photos. So Gininda literally wanted Nxumalo to revisit Zungu's testimony and do compare and contrast for him. That's what he wanted. Then Advocate Baloyi foresaw the danger here. He said that he understands what his learned friend is requesting. Because Nxumalo at this point was saying, no, we can do it. It can be done. Let us do it. Let us compare and contrast. And then he said that Constable Zungu has testified his evidence and that his evidence is on record. This is Advocate Baloyi now saying that. And he said that they have been checking his evidence during adjournment, and he did refer to the photos that he identified accused number 4 on the photos. Why should they now reinvent the wheel and go back to his affidavit when he has already testified? This was all Brigadier Gininda's suggestion, by the way. It was never suggested by Nxumalo. Nxumalo was following the Brigadier's lead. Then, on
your command.
Baloyi said that Nxumalo must go to the evidence and compare it to Exhibit S, and if there was any consistency, they would have confronted him with his testimony. So Brigadier Gininda is now expected to try and explain Zungu's evidence. The best way would be to compare his evidence with the photos, and if he was confronted with inconsistencies. So Nxumalo said he would like to go through his cross-examination with Zungu. Then the judge asked him to do it on the spot. Baloyi gave the dates where Zungu identified Exhibit S as accused number 4. And the judge asked Gininda that if the allegation was that Zungu at one stage couldn't identify the photos properly, has that been put to him? Gininda said no, it was not put to him. So the judge said, I see your contention is the whole of South Africa. On the 27th of October 2020, they saw the accused on TV. Gininda said that it has been like that all the way ever since that. That is why they went for the option of the album. And if they were not publicized and they did not appear in court, one would have done a formal ID parade. Doing an ID parade of the accused who had already appeared before court would have been futile. So this, to me, I felt a vibe like the judge is trying to do what he does, and Gininda is not catching he's not catching the memo. He's not signal is lost.
I swear.
Nxumalo then stood to the aspect of the pictures, and he said that he will come back to it. I hope he does. He needs to revisit this at the end of the cross-examination. I want him to.
And you must not forget that Mjiako number.
Yes, the FCC number as well, please.
Don't ever forget that thing.
Well,
because I think strategically they will give in when Gininda is done.
Yeah.
And that will be on purpose.
Yeah. Nxumalo then moved on to the factors that informed him that there were intruders in the house. And Nxumalo said, from the record of the 17th of October 2024, you mentioned at least 4 factors that informed you that there were intruders on the runaway phone of Miss Kelly Kumalo. These phones' last activity was in Muleleki Tower on the 26th of October 2014. And Gininda said, yeah, he remembers seeing Muleleki Tower. Then Nxumalo referred to the indictment, saying that there is a charge, robbery with aggravating circumstances in relation to this phone. Gininda said that he does not want to be dragged there. He was not involved in the drafting of the charges. That is the terrain of the NPA. Kumalo read the indictment where it said count 3 is the count of robbery with aggravating circumstances. The accused did unlawfully and intentionally assault Miss Kelly Kumalo and Gladness Kumalo and did it with force and violence and took a Samsung S4 cell phone, the property or in lawful possession of Miss Kelly Kumalo and or Gladness Kumalo and did rob her of the same. Aggravating circumstances being present in that the accused made use of a firearm. Gininda confirmed that the phone did belong to Kelly Kumalo, and Nxumalo asked him what is the status of Kelly Kumalo. Is she a suspect or is she a complainant? The witness, what is she in this case?
You see, the flaws of this case today that I've realized is that these people were in their house. One, they did not open any case of a cell phone being stolen.
No.
Yet it is stolen in that court.
Yes.
It's a matter of fact.
Yes.
Because of some GPRS that could have been picked up while the phone was left in the house. God knows they are not far from that tower. Let us be honest. So it is all George uhlale phansi wabuka what no. I think my colleagues
robbery of a cell phone with aggravating.
Yeah, my colleagues, I think here we should put robbery of a phone with aggravating. What? Aggravating what? Circumstances. Yes.
This is based on Miss Popola as she was peeping through the bathroom.
We will, however, try now and then to bring her as a mastermind, but it will be done through the investigating office, because that's the theory of an investigating officer. There's no such as mastermind in Maloi's indictment. No, and he's now in fact in support of that. Yet all along he's been testifying about the mastermind. All along. The fairness of this case is just thrown out of the window. There is prejudice.
Extreme prejudice in
that obviously the defense will argue as they go to the next level, because that is inevitable.
Well, Gininda said that Kelly is a person of interest. He applied for a warrant of arrest, so he wouldn't apply for a warrant of arrest if she was not a suspect. But currently, she's not an accused before court. She's not the complainant. She's a person of interest. Nxumalo then said, when I read the indictment, she's a complainant in the count of robbery, so she can't be a suspect at the same time.
And the complainant never came to testify.
Nope. Baloyi interjected and said, my lord, we have traversed this issue. Before this is a decision which will be made at the end of the case, what role Ms. Kelly Kumalo played, it is not for this witness to give an opinion.
Can you imagine the stupidity of that statement? No, I'm sorry. Think about it. You are in the very same case saying that this is a person who was robbed, who's a complainant.
Yes.
And then you are saying later you will decide. What are you going to decide? Because by virtue of reading that, it is now decided that this is the case. You can't say, yeah, you complain and then later on change, I'm charging you for being a mastermind. After you've arrested people for aggravating what. And then you come back and say, you're a mastermind, I'm charging you. How does that work?
I don't know. Maybe
I told you what would Libala would this Kelly would go to jail. Kosh. Forget. Yeah, I hear you. Kosh.
This ruined the case.
Kosh. There's only one chance, and Nayo is on the life support 375.
Yes. We're all of them.
That's the only thing that is left. Now he's on the life support. It's being threatened. Now and then it's being reminded, you are going down. You know, it's impossible to see it happening. These guys, they'll be arrested and no one else will be arrested other than them.
They're working towards that.
That's what not having money entails.
Yes.
That any time you could be walking to work, about to enter the gate, going to work for your kids, and then the white and blue and yellowish car stops, or even unbranded or black van, because these IO they vie with black vans. Well, unless if you are investigated by the big guns such as Yoginindi, you see maybe something like a BMW, maybe
Or
parking, a Polo, and then they come to you, they say, Chief, what did you eat? Exactly what did you eat in 2013? Then you say, but it's been ages. And then they take you, they say, let us go corroborate. You say you were at KFC. Let's go collaborate.
Next thing you know, you're in jail for 4 years. You're going to try.
You see, that basically that's what would happen.
I may laugh, but this is painful.
That's the life.
Hell.
No, that's the life that you have to live in this country.
All Ntanzi needed was a lawyer, and I'll keep saying
a proper lawyer.
A proper lawyer. We're not talking about that one who appeared out of nowhere. We don't even know whether he was a lawyer or not.
Denying that one. The one that he cannot deny.
We're talking about the one he gave instruction that he actually paid to represent him.
All that Ntanzi needed is a lawyer.
That's all he needed.
Same as what Kelly had.
Yeah, Kelly had, because I went back. 2020, there was a certainty in the media. The reports came in that Kelly was getting arrested, and then it disappeared like thin air. What do you think happened? Kelly had a lawyer. That's the difference.
So that one of Zandi trying Mandisa definitely moneyed, in my opinion. So you can't just go left into
Yes.
You're gonna get a uzothola bulldozer.
Yes.
Uzolimala nje izovela akushabanise nje court. So in essence, what I'm trying to say is that not having money is a sin in this world. I'm gonna say in this world. Because any day, any time, it can be tea time to you.
Most definitely.
And we will believe it.
Yes.
We will believe it.
That's unfortunate. But
better trust and believe that we will believe it, because they will. And luckily, these days, we have the opposite of the mainstream media, mainstream papers. People who are able to, like us, to say what we think. That's luck these days. But I can tell you, once the media takes it, then you become a serious suspect.
Yes.
A media the South African media does not play around. It writes
Your
that
whole life ruined.
Yes.
You become
you
that
are gone.
Before you're even convicted or found guilty. You become that which you are being accused of.
Where is the guy that was arrested for this case in Fosloras? What is he doing? Anyone can find that for me. I'm not saying that it could be. I'm just worried after that, what happened? After that touch, the hand of a devil, what happens?
What I saw in Carte Blanche is that he's still living in fear. There are some people who still think he did it.
We understand.
By mere effect of him getting arrested.
So, why it is important to actually have these platforms is because of that. Exactly that. Because any day we are able to sit here and look objectively and see through that this is just a lot. It's a whole lot of bunch of crap. It doesn't require a degree. But I can promise you there are those ones aba hamba no moya.
Yes.
You know, there are those ones. But guy, nipasope, neimpimpi zikhona khona la.
True.
Impimpi zikhona khona la abantu abakwi payroll maybe amahata just and then they need to push a certain narrative that is here. We unfortunately, it could be us, it could be anyone. You know, I'm just saying so that you know. I'm just saying so that you know. You know,
but yes,
the corner and in as follower, abanye benu mhlambe bazibasigaye nemali yabo. Hey, thank you. You put a certain perspective that I did not think. I'm telling you, it's unfortunate to see it, but you cannot run away from that. It's the fact that it happens. Nami mangengezwa kuthiwa Senzo nami ngiyavula ngibheke. What is this one saying?
The check might not be coming from YouTube. It might be
and then maybe halfway
get
2 minutes ke ngizwe ukuthi hayi lona ke hayi lona sangoma nje esathwasayo. Yabo, those are things that are there. All I'm trying to say is that these are things that are there. I mean, we cannot run away from it. Uzumuntu akhuluma agiyisha uthola le argument yabo. Hey bana, these people, what exactly are they like? Ngathi ungambamba ikhanda umxukuzo, wake up. You know, is that issue? But that issue in South Africa is common.
Yeah.
It is highly common, in fact. Not even just, it is highly common. Is that issue of let's go vote, let's do 1, 2, 3. And then you hear people
10 left
telling you things and things you like.
They get to the button,
and then at the end you find them crying there. Hey, it's happening. This is South Africa. That's how South Africa is. Unfortunately.
You didn't see and you didn't want to listen to me because you thought there's no way this black person can be better than me or tell me what to do. And
exactly.
You went and did the opposite, and now you're finding out.
Later. And now it's touching you. Now you expect us to go and fight for you.
No. I tried. I tried to warn you. I tried. I did my best, and you didn't want to listen to me.
No, it's true. Unfortunately, this is South Africa. This is how we operate in South Africa. In South Africa, there's no countries divided as this one.
Yeah.
Don't take that facade of being told that we are united. No.
Unfortunately, we are not. We're far from it.
We are divided, and that's how
that's why
an
we're
enemy
conquered.
strive.
Yes, we're even being conquered by other nations right now. It's because we refuse to agree.
No, abanye impela bathula alandele ubone ukuthi uyazi ukuthi it doesn't take that much to listen to someone listen man ngeke man umama womntwana lo and abanye babo they are older, even older than you. I mean, umuntu omdala lona is raising kids. I don't know what those kids are saying. How are they gonna reason when they grow up? You know that you ask yourself, and then you are born a man. This person is not that it doesn't see. Maybe this one is just on the payroll. What is he doing, Valen?
What are they doing?
You know, those are the questions that fall. When's that very because we wake up and go to work. When's that? What are you doing? We chat up, man. Because it's not here. The one here is not here. That's why we always beg. Hey,
thank you for the super chat.
Hey, thank you for the super chat. Hey, ayikho la. Ngeke uhlalelele. Uthi uhleli impela nje uhlalela imali uthi kuzophuma imali. No, it's not here. Wena uphila ngani wena? Wena ke what are you what do you tell your kids in the afternoon? Ubaba uhleli ungawari, I'm gonna work something out today. Tap that screen. You know? No. But it's fine. Let us continue. Just today I'm pissed a bit, but I'm okay. It's drizzle.
Well, I said that it's not for this witness to give an opinion to advocate Paloy, and then Nxumalo said that Brigadier I must say that the way the investigations was conducted is flawed because the police say that this person was a suspect. On this other hand, the DPP, when drafting the indictment, is placing her as a complainant. So Bale said that the witness doesn't have to respond to that, and the evidence will be disclosed at the end of the case as to what transpired on that day. Nxumalo then said, in respect of that count, what then should we follow? Should we follow your line of thought?
Nxumalo. I like that. Rubbing it in. Started it.
Yes.
Put it in. Now I'm sure when you run out of questions, bring that in.
Rub it in.
Hooray. Fella, we don't know what we are defending here. Whether we are defending a bullet or a knife, we don't know, but we are just defending.
That's true, though. They don't know what they're defending. And he said we should follow a line of thought that Miss Kumalo is a suspect or a person of interest, or she's a complainant of that case. But he said that he doesn't know what is it that Advocate Nxumalo does not understand. He said that the evidence will reveal what the respective role of the various parties was. It's not for this witness to give an opinion. Then Nxumalo said again, you testified about Kelly being the person of interest, the mastermind, and the commissioner of the offense, but the indictment is telling us something totally different. He said, I will proceed with the question that I want to ask. And Nxumalo went to the affidavit of Twala, where he said, I didn't see the suspect taking any cell phone in the house, but later heard that the suspect took Kelly's phone. The cell phone was on the charger. He said that he remembers that Kelly removed his cell phone from the charger and placed her cell phone. And Gininda said that the suggestion that the investigation was flawed by Advocate Nxumalo, he thinks it's baseless and completely misleading. No. It's not at all. And he said he has a copy of the docket and he has seen what evidence they have collected. So to say that it is flawed or fraud, it's completely misleading because the evidence that they have collected completely speaks for itself.
Objection just on the basis that I need to object.
Yeah. So when it comes to the evidence of Twala, it's not for me, and I will be the greatest respect. I was not in court when Twala testified. I was not there when the statement was taken. It was way before my time, so I'm not sure how I can assist. I did not commission the statement. Was not there when he was interviewed, so only he wants to testify on the statements that he commissioned as the lead investigator. And lastly, he came to testify. He said, I know we made arrangements for him to come to court, so those issues should be canvassed with him. And Nxumalo said, before I continue, do you know if Kelly Kumalo will be called to come and testify? Advocate Baloyi raised to say that it's not for the witness to say, it's the prerogative of the prosecution. At the end of the state's case, they will make all the witnesses that haven't been called available to the defense. Nxumalo said that he's prepared questions in relation to Kelly and wanted to know if she will come. And Nxumalo wanted to know if Brigadier Gininda was the last witness for the state. The judge said that they may call other witnesses, but then Baloyi said that he will put him at ease and put it on record. And he said, I'm repeating it again, that Miss Kelly Kumalo, they are not going to call Miss Kelly Kumalo. If he wants them, they will repeat it. They are not going to call her. So Nxumalo returned to Twala's statements on the record of the proceedings on the 2nd of August 2023. Now, where he said that he was charging his phone next to the TV stand and Miss Kelly Kumalo unplugged his phone and plugged hers. Mthokozisi said that what he remembers is that his phone was still on the stand and he thought that once she was done, she would put that phone back or put his phone back. Nxumalo said the cell phone of Miss Kelly Kumalo was on the stand of the charger or on the charger. And he also made reference to Constable Musia's photo albums. He showed Gininda that photo. Do you guys remember that photo of a phone that came with the master copy of Musia's photo album? Do you guys remember that? He put that phone. There was a Samsung.
The one that was not regarded.
Yes.
And then later we find out it's a phone. You know what is funny about this case? People do things and like these things, they become obvious. The only thing you didn't take a picture of properly is a cell phone. That is in question now. And
the funny thing is that now that
why did you take the picture initially? If you
And now they're trying to allude that phone could have been Tumelo's phone. That's what they're trying to paint it as. I was very shocked. Nxumalo said Constable Musia said that he had no reason for adding the 2 pictures that came with the master copy. He further told the court that he took those photos at around 1 a.m. and he said he didn't consult with the witnesses. So Gininda said that he consulted with some of the people. Secondly, there is independent evidence that speaks to that phone. And he said that in his view that it is independent evidence. What I'm being shown here are pictures of a phone that we don't know who it belongs to. And Nxumalo asked if there was any evidence that was done to determine the owner of that phone and who it was. And Advocate Baloyi raised to say that Madlala testified about that phone. Did Madlala testify about that phone? But Madlala testified before this evidence was brought up about this phone. So Madlala never even told the court what type of phone he had. And if he had a Samsung, it was considered one of those upper class phones at the time. So if he had that phone, I have a lot of questions because he couldn't afford the bus ticket to come and see his friend in Gauteng. So there's a lot of things to explore. Then Nxumalo put it to Gininda that there's no runaway phone. And Advocate Baloyi raised again and said that that is not correct. And he said Tumelo Madlala testified about that aspect. And Nxumalo said that Tumelo Madlala testified that he ran to the bedroom and he had his phone. At no point in time did Tumelo say that he was separated from his phone. Even at the hospital, he had his phone with him. He said the battery had died. He had to ask Mtabiseng or something to make a phone call, but he still had his phone with him. The only time he got separated with his phone was when the police confiscated it. Yeah, so Nxumalo then said, so I put it to you that there is no runaway phone. Gininda said that this assertion is misleading because there are activities that happened after Tumelo Madlala ran to the bedroom. He did not stay there forever. They left and went to the hospital and later came back, and he had that the forensic evidence that points to the fact that the phone later pinged at Muleleki. Nxumalo said that the pictures came with Musia and nothing was done about them. Gininda said that that was misleading because Advocate Baloyi read Madlala's testimony where he says the phone is his. How? When did he say that? Because they are getting away. When did Tumelo take ownership of that phone? Then he goes on to say that there's no evidence from any of the officers that says that Kelly Kumalo's phone was found in the house. Then Nxumalo moved to the DNA as a factor considered before Gininda concluded that there were intruders. The DNA of the people who were in the house were not picked up in that hat. Gininda said that's correct, and Nxumalo said that the DNA report by Captain Masetla excluded all the accused. Gininda said, see, my lord, this is where we differ. It is different in that he reads
the entirety. That's another term, entirety.
He must read them in its entirety. He said it's different in what he reads them in. Some of them are cuss, unlike the people who were in the house. But because he does not read them and all of them, and then they are excluded. He went on and on about how Advocate Nxumalo should read the report in its entirety and how Captain Masetla could not find a conclusive finding. Nxumalo read what Captain Masetla said from the record on the 10th of October 2023, and he said, my lord, what is important before I start checking whether I can find that DNA in the swab or in the head is that for us to say that a person is included, you have to include the person in all DNS regions. So reading a person in one single region does not mean that that person is included in the mixture. Gininda said for him to make a conclusive finding, if there are 16, they all tick. He is running short of 2. If they are 14, he can't pronounce on the inclusion. He said that how he understands it. I cannot believe that a whole lead investigator who is a brigadier does not want to understand DNA evidence. Are we in trouble, South Africa? What is going on? This is really not difficult to grasp. It's not a difficult concept at all. And he wants the regions to match, and that's not how DNA works. He chooses to misunderstand Captain Masetla if he has as much influence. or if he had even a wince of influence to Captain Masitla as much as he had, I believe, on Captain Mangena, or what is he now, Colonel Mangena. If he had that much influence, guys, I am afraid that Captain Masitla would have come here and went to court and put his career in disrepute, and then came and lied and said that the DNA was either inconclusive or it was a match. The way he's forcing it, it seems like, hi, if you don't have that thing in you of really navigating the situation, now you are in trouble. The way, there's no way Captain Masitla did not explain this. He explained it, and he just chooses to hear what he wants to hear. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You know why I'm worried about the pronunciation of this inconclusive. We have, according to the test, we have inclusive,
yes,
exclusive,
yes,
and inconclusive. Those are three.
yes,
But
yes.
now we are talking about inconclusives. Inconclusive results indicate that the DNA test did not produce information that would allow an individual to be either included or excluded as the source of the biological evidence. Inconclusive result can occur for many reasons. For example, even with the sensitive PCR testing, the quality or the quantity of DNA obtained from the biological evidence may be insufficient to produce a definitive DNA typing result. Inconclusive result also can occur if the evidence sample contains a mixture of DNA from several individuals.
Kind of like,
for
what
example,
with the hat.
A sample taken from a victim of a gang rape, even if the suspect's DNA profile is found in the biological evidence, the presence of the DNA from the other sources may prohibit the establishment of the of an inconclusive or exclusive result. If of the inclusive or exclusive or inclusive and exclusive result, if there is more than one perpetrator of this assault, the victim recently had consensual intercourse, which therefore they are explaining a lot of things. I think, let me stop there.
So
but basically, that's what we can say is inconclusive.
Like what happened with the hat in particular. The hat, there was an allegation that there were a lot.
But did that guy come and say that?
What his job was to exclude. He excluded.
No, I'm saying, did this guy come and say there was a mixture of DNA of accused number one and accused number two?
It was an allegation.
Because that's what, it's an allegation. Now you are legitimizing it by saying it was that guy never came and said there is a mixture of DNA of accused one and accused number. He never said that.
He never said that.
That is what we call inconclusive. That's why I'm saying what that judge is saying, and if you like it, I like it at your own risk. The man said excluding. Yes. Excluded. When the DNA profile from an individual or a victim or suspect does not match the DNA profile generated from the crime scene evidence, the reference individual is excluded as the donor of the evidence. In some cases, it may be necessary to perform additional testing to establish the source of the DNA profile in evidence. For example, a blood sample may be requested from a husband and they are making an example. But all I'm trying to say is that inconclusive, making it sound like saying excluding.
Even
trust that thing at your own risk.
Is wrong. Even his
trust that thing at your own risk.
Even his interpretation is way out of the window. And Kumalo said, in respect of my client, he said that he is excluded. For us to read somebody, you have to read them in all the DNA readings. In that case, we will not continue with Mapisa because we can see that he's excluded in that swab. So we'll just have the same suspect as Mapisa. So Gininda said that we are not going back to the evidence that was given when I was not here. It must have come from somewhere and continued. So after that back and forth about the interpretation of the DNA results, Judge Rata said that there is a difference between insufficient DNA and no DNA at all. The judge and advocate Baloyi remained in their dululu, in my opinion. Of the DNA
is saying legally inconclusive result can be used to find the accused guilty, period. Rata said that. Okay. After saying that, why is it not telling Gininda to say, hey chief, but we heard that these people were excluded? Why doesn't he want to go to exclude? He's putting it on record inconclusive. Why does he keep saying inconclusive?
I don't understand.
He's putting it on record.
He is.
You can only do that if you know what you're doing, right?
Yes.
So that you can back yourself up. He's putting it on record. And he wants the defense to accept that they're saying inconclusive. And if they accept it, he's going to come back with a judgment. You'll be surprised.
Yeah. He was going to put it in his judgment. The audacity of the judgment, though, in my opinion, to compare fingerprint testing with DNA testing that is coming from... it's just strange. He said that the fingerprints, it must be 7 regions, then it will be inconclusive. I don't think he understands, or he doesn't want to. Let me just say he doesn't want to understand that there's a difference between the testing of fingerprint and then the testing of DNA samples. He doesn't want to differentiate.
Yes, can you imagine a judge saying, maybe it's because they went to Inyang, that the DNA is excluding them?
Oh,
why would you say that as a judge?
Yeah, he may want to even go there.
Why would you say that as a judge?
Who knows? He might even take it.
Wait, what happened to science?
That would be so
now
wrong.
You believe in superstitions. Yeah?
Oh my God. And
then he's going to go quote the case of witchcraft. I'm sure there is one.
Zikona vele before they banned it and made the Witchcraft Act. Zikona, I'm sure there are cases that pertain to that. And he said that for legal purposes, you cannot convict the person based on that evidence because it's inconclusive. But
there is no such. Why do you keep on saying inconclusive? It says exclude.
Why do you keep saying it's inconclusive when it's not?
Exclude. Use that word. Exclude. Yes.
Exclude. Accept it because that's what it is. Right?
It did not say it's inconclusive, my lord. That aspect, we were all listening with our ears and eyes open.
Then he was very condescending to the defense, saying that they should go and read on DNA evidence in order to support his dululu.
He does not even know.
He continued to give an example of fingerprint evidence. I was talking about something that happened in 1982 with an ANC person, and then But then here's the interesting thing: the use of DNA in South African courts began in the early 1990s. The first reported case involving DNA apparently was in 1991. So what is he talking about? What is he talking about? So after the long adjournment, Nxumalo,
he's not going to. You don't get it. He's not going to say, yeah, because the DNA was inconclusive and I find you guilty. No. He's gonna say there is a gun that had an open exhibit.
Yes.
And then there's a confession. And the DNA happens to be inconclusive. Therefore, on the basis of these 2 or more than 2 or 3,
he's gonna find others.
I find the accused guilty. Sentence them.
Yeah.
He's not gonna say I find you guilty on the basis of inconclusive result. No, they can be used as an additional step to say
he's
on top of
to use it as an additional a point that will justify the judgment that he wants to.
Yes. He's not going to use them alone independent. That's why he's saying it out loud. And he's saying it out loud.
You should also pay attention to stuff that he just wakes up and wants interest
and is fighting for.
Yeah.
Yes.
You must
ask yourself, why does it matter? Why are you not conceding that it's inconclusive? Because the record is saying exclude. The record is saying that. And the person who believes in a record, all of a sudden he's defying what the record is saying.
Yes.
He say it's inconclusive. Why?
He cannot work with exclusion. Exclusion would mean he'd have to acquit.
Because you see what exclusion is doing. Let me tell you what exclusion is doing with regards to this case. And if you don't say it today, forget that you'll ever catch up with what is currently happening to this case. I'm going to explain
a ton of bricks when he reads his judgment.
Let me show you what the exclusion is. It means the accused are saying the people who were in the house are saying this is not our hat. This hat was worn by one of the intruders.
Yes.
So this hat does not have these intruders' blood or sweat or anything.
Yes.
It does not include them.
Yes.
How then do you make a judgment that these accused were ever in that house? That hat is the only link that can put those people in that house and not be questioned. It's evidence of science.
Yes.
So that inconclusive, if you think just inconclusive, no, there's a gun pad. A gun has been argued. Now a gun is half. It's 50%, because at some point there's a situation of an accident. And check how he keeps on referring. Is this not your gun? Is this not the accused gun? Are you denying that?
Are you disputing?
Are you saying that 2 minutes? Check on how he keeps on doing that thing. And you say you think he's not gonna go there. He's going exactly where you think he's not going. Wake up. That's where he's going.
Unfortunately.
He's going exactly there. Because that had excluded those people. That means those people were never in the house. If there was an intruder and the theory still remains, therefore it could have been a different intruder.
Yep. Well, Nxumalo turned to the track of the vehicle by Longa Twala. Gininda said that Advocate Baloyi is the one best vested with the answers as to whether Longo will come and testify or not. And Gininda agreed that the evidence is documentary evidence. Nxumalo then moved on to the evidence of the witness. Gininda agreed that he made reference to the Nxaches. Nxumalo went through Gininda's testimony where he mentioned that they saw people running out. And Nxumalo said, I have 3 statements of the Nxaches. Which one of the 3 says that they saw people running out? Gininda said, what you have read to me does not say specifically the Nxaches. I made reference to Makeleni, who saw people running out. He was among those that I said made the statement. So we can safely conclude that the Nxaches never said they saw anyone or 3. Particularly 3 people running out of the house, because Brigadier Gininda refuses for their statements to be used. It means it does not support that. The only one is Makeleni and Ntabiseng. So Gininda added that he was referring to the totality of the witnesses that were not inside the house because they had no reason to lie. He counts all the statements of that he took into account. And Nxumalo said, is there any chain that shows that the money came from Kumalo to the accused? Gininda said that there's no evidence that says that the money came from Kumalo's account. He added that the evidence shows that the money was paid in cash. So Nxumalo then said that my client, Mr. Mapisa, received any payment. Gininda asked to consult the statements of Ndwandwe, Gwabini, Butelezi before answering this question. Nxumalo asked that they do it now. Okay, and Nxumalo said that he's gone through them and Gwabini does not mention anything about money. Then now Gininda was now rambling, now finding things and now talking about, hey,
entirely.
Yay! Girina said that Govini does not mention the money and puts them together, that the two others were paid. So how is it that all of them acted in common purpose? Two of them were paid and the three others were not. Here, but Nisi then stood up and said that what Gininda was saying is a fallacy. Okay, Gininda said that he was asked a question and he asked to refer to the statement, but Nxumalo said that he could not see anything on Gwabini's statement that referred to the money being paid to Mapisa. Now he's being asked to withhold the evidence. But I like what Mnisi did. This is a fallacy. This witness is being asked this question and then they decide to go and ramble and talk about something else.
It's pissing off, I won't lie to you. Mthokozi Silang, ifamba moyeni, uyabona leya phone? Ifamba moyeni. It's flying. It was never found, the phone.
No.
The so-called runaway phone.
It was never found.
The only thing that was found, umzila. Sikade umzila nje lelo kuzaneni. Ihamba ngomoya, ifamba moyeni. Iya connect.
Well, Nxumalo then said, why did Kumalo want Senzo dead? And Gininda said that he dealt with this aspect and indicated that the motive behind Miss Kumalo wanting Senzo dead is being investigated. He said that Nxumalo said that it's been 10 years since Meyiwa was killed and the motive is still under investigation. And then Gininda said, even if that is not in context, you must ask, when did Miss Kumalo become a person of interest? When did I take the matter over? Was it looked at? An impression must not be created that the information was gathered in terms of Miss Kumalo. What I am saying is the motive is what is still being investigated. So Gininda said that Nxumalo wants to create an impression that he was seized with this case since 2014 and that the aspect of Kelly was known to them then. Gininda said that there was no electronic transfer that came from Miss Kumalo to the accused. For any of the other accused, there's no evidence that you will find such in the bank statements. He said that he requested all bank statements and none was found. So Nxumalo said, so it's been 6 years since you took over and the investigation is still underway. Advocate Baloyi raised to say that it is an unfair question and the judge asked if this is about years now. And then he gave an example of some case taking 40 years and that the trial for it began yesterday or whatever. Then Nxumalo moved on and asked if there were any transactions that were transferred to the accused. Gininda said that he dealt with this aspect and there's no electronic transaction that they found. So court adjourned. We'll continue again tomorrow. Guys, the lines, I don't know if they are open.
They are
or
open.
not.
They are
I'm
open.
tired.
They are open. They are open.
I'm tired. Hopefully I covered
Ifamba
everything.
moyeni.
And you guys, we covered it all.
Sis, I was
and you
answering sis.
understood.
Sorry, I was answering sis in terms of the connection. Sorry, sis. Because ifamba moyeni, iya flyer. You know what? It's even funny. The phone goes to the hostel, then it's the accused. No one else. It's the accused. The phone pings in Joburg. No, it's the phone. No, that is the phone. The phone pinged in Joburg alone. But when it goes to the hostel, the site, it pings closer to the hostel. Oh, that one, it's accused, it's intruders.
Hey, it's a mess.
Mzansi, hello. How are you?
I'm Mr. Ano and family.
Hi.
I'm good, thanks. You're speaking with Shinga here.
Yes.
Yes, good. Thanks for taking my call and thanks for keeping up with the brigadier. Very difficult to listen, but they are hanging on there. I've got a couple of points, but I will try to be quick so that I give others a chance.
Yes.
First one is Section 205. My understanding is the investigating officers requested this to the service providers, and the service providers run through the data and upload them to a system that they share with the police.
Yes.
Police have got a password, username, and it's there. So if this data for accused 3 was run for Cleveland or Alexander case, whatever period, in 2015 or 2017, I don't know, it will still be there. You cannot then, the IO cannot then come and say we did not have it, because what you think he did was to go to those Section 205 that have been sent to this system and then retrieve that, for this specific number for Gaza, there it is. The Section 205. So you cannot come now and say we did not have it, because if you say you did not have it, it's like Pinky was withholding it. But no, it was there on you didn't check it.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, that's my understanding. Yeah, and then the other part that I wanted us to converse, is the IO talks to Sizwe Zungu, and then Sizwe Zungu. It was after Senzo Zungu said, my father has got information about this SM, Senzo Meyiwa case. So, Absolom Zungu is here, and then Senzo Zungu comes.
Yeah.
How did Absolom Zungu give information to Guinea that Gwabini and the other guys who were at the hostel? How did Absolom give? Do you know how Absolom explained to IO that Gwabini and the other guys were there? Because
it's not Absolom who explained Gwabini. Apparently it's Gwabini who explained that these ones was also there, and some Buthelezi guys who's arrested who said apparently the Sizwe Zungu, the constable, was also there. It's not the father who said that. Apparently.
Yeah, no. Mr. Ann, where I'm confused is how did the brigadier end up at Gwabini? because at first he has got information about accused 1 and 2 that he got from Absolom. But how did the brigadier end up at Gwabini?
At Gwabini, the Gwabini guy.
Yes.
I don't know. Isn't it the confession?
How did he end up speaking to all those guys at the hostel that were saying that the policeman was also here? How did that happen? That's the part I'm missing.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I hear you. But it could be the confession. We have it. Did the confession mention Gwabini?
No, the confession doesn't talk about Gwabini. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
If I'm you feel it like
okay. No, that's all right. Yeah, I was going to request you to do, that cheering again that you played for Advocate Nxumalo for a job well done.
Yeah.
He has been the best defense lawyer.
Yes.
For the past 2, I'm not underestimating Mr. Nis, but Mr. Nxumalo, he has grown. He has become a big guy. Yeah. Even when they try to push him, he stands up his position and he still stuck to his guns. And that's the type of person. I know before you were also including me. I was even worried if you would be able to challenge the IO, but I could see that he is the one who took them down. Yeah. Yes. And then fingerprints and DNA. I think the judge needs to invite that witness to come and explain to him that DNA. And Mr. Ano, I don't care how the judge interprets that result. Excluded, it means excluded. Even if you tell yourself that is inconclusive, but I don't care, man. If it's excluded, and he can go and make his own judgment about it. But to me, it's still excluded. Okay. And then, did you hear this guy where he was saying? The payment was the payment was done using cash, and logic detects that if these guys killed one person, they would have shared the money. We are not using logic here, man. Please throw away your logic, man. We want evidence. The question was, is there evidence? Not logic. Yeah. So I wasn't too sure what he was trying to do, and then. Objections by the TP made since cross-examination of IO started. I will tell you, I don't remember one objection from the public prosecutor that was valid. You can just, it is really a fallacy, this one. You can see even when he stands up and try to object, you say, what is this objection about? Because I'm not cashing. Cash, they're just speculation saying these guys were paid cash.
Yeah.
Even if you pay people cash, Mr. there has to be a source to the cash. The source is not being vomited from somewhere. No, it has to come from a withdrawal.
Yeah.
So that it becomes cash. That's why you could not even talk about that plastic bag, transparent plastic bag anymore, because that is not proof for anything. And for that reason, that's why anyone who dreams of Kelly being in jail for this case will keep on dreaming, because it will not happen. No evidence, man. There's no evidence.
Yeah.
Okay, and then did you see this IO was not comfortable to discuss why he applied for some Section 205 to the bank. He was very, very uncomfortable. I didn't understand why is this, because this guy is normally eager to go into something. But he didn't want to, he didn't even want to step there, and then he will just retract a little bit. So those are my few pointers. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Keep on doing the good work.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we say thank you, Sheshe. God bless you, NCD, and I'm happy, our member. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
God continue to bless you.
We do what you ask for. This is for Black Mamba. Right. It's back. Buyele, ma'am. Mzansi, hello.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. This is Ishmael from Joburg. I would like to applaud you guys for the job well done. You know, sometimes we get tired because of this explaining of Kininda, and I believe Nxumalo has got a way of dealing with the men.
Yeah.
Nxumalo just lets the men talk, and then he says, "My question hasn't been answered." He just does it like that, and Kininda, it irritates him. The more it irritates him, the more he fails even to answer simple questions. Right now, I think what is needed only here is the defense to put it to the state and to the judge, especially the court. The DNA evidence excluded these guys. That one, I think there is a bit of confusion, especially when they don't put it to, because judge always says, please put it to the witness. They must put it to the witness that the DNA evidence excluded these guys, and also that the exhibit bag was open when it comes to the gun.
Yeah.
The exhibit bag was open, so it created a chance of swapping of exhibits there. The fact that the exhibit bag was open, that one on its own, it creates a loophole. They must capitalize with that loophole.
Yes.
And thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's not everyone that can be this tenacious. You wait, you take your time to actually analyze this case. You don't rush just to post.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you.
Zanzi, hello.
You.
Oh, thank you very much for taking my call.
Yes.
I hope I had not been bothering you guys
No.
too much. Once again, as usual, excellence with you guys in as far as the work that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellence is now becoming a norm, and that's how it must be.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
I would like to address 5 points. I won't discuss any one of them.
Okay.
I'll just mention them
Yeah.
so that I minimize being long. Surely there are a lot of people that want to call.
Yes.
First one, as good and as excellent as you guys have done, Nxumalo is doing a good job.
Yes.
The evidence of the state is crumbling like a deck of cards, like he said before. Point number 2, the comment being made by the judge when it comes to the warning of statements to say, he started by saying, no, it has got nothing to do with this case. That is the abstract. But the conclusion is, like Kininda has done, to delegate. Point number 3 is Nxumalo talking about a Samsung S4. Baloyi Vaseline objects with an S3. Point number 3, DNA. Can lawyers do a bit of science study so that they can understand what this is about? A joke that was made by the judge in regards to that, ukuthi kunomtshita angazi ukuthi benzani lapha eSoweto dayidenkani gebierni, to associate it with the DNA. There were no maintenance cases at the time. He mustn't fool us. Last point. Gininda, at some point when he's asked by Nxumalo to say, why did you investigate bank statements for payments? His response was literally to place someone somewhere. An objective investigator doesn't do that to ensure that you place someone. It is to finding out as to whether they were there or not. Upu corroborate, manje. Thank you very much. You guys are doing a good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Right. Lindan Dube, thank you. We appreciate you. May God bless you. May God increase you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindan Dube.
Right. As I wait, someone is sending me the picture on the news. I think it's ENCA that also said it excluded. Even the news on that day said excluded. Mzansi, hello.
You said excluded. The judge in his...
Mzansi, hello.
Good morning. Good morning, my 2% DNA relatives. How are you doing? Batbako Primrose.
Hey,
Primrose, yeah.
Hi.
Batbako Primrose, Bill. You interview people in the parking lot over there in South Africa. Wow.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you guys. Emma Lily interview about the parking lot for South Africa, but it's so good to see you guys and looking well. I really like Mukoma from Sydney. He always brings very invaluable points, and I just appreciate him so much. He's one of my favorite callers.
Yes.
Janinda is a serious problem Batumba Mudim. I don't even know how to translate it into English. Basically, I don't know. His problems are bigger than than a squatting elephant, if I may put it that way, if it makes sense. To a point where even an advocate has to count the number of words in his question to say, Mutamujim, I just asked you a simple question with 14 words and you are giving me a church sermon. He doesn't listen to questions posed to him. He just speaks about Gwabeni when he's being asked about Zungu.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've just got a few points, but I also have questions, He said that he met Zungu for the first time at the Telkom Towers before Easter of 2019, right?
Yes.
He's got a very vivid memory as far as that is concerned. He doesn't remember the exact month, but he just knows that it's before Easter.
Yes.
But then he remembers the November date, right? Because Zungu's father was then involved somehow at that time, right? So he's also saying during the first meeting, Zungu only spoke about what his daddy knew, right? So, but then there were multiple meetings between that first meeting and November the 13th, right? But between that time, he then lost contact of Zungu's number. But Mashobani, I don't know if I'm pronouncing Mashobani, located Zungu. Located Zungu. Now, I've got two questions. My first question is, as an investigating officer who was assigned to this case to solve it, right?
Yes.
How do you lose a phone number of someone who has critical information about a case that you're investigating? That's the first question. The second question, why would you not arrange or organize by any means necessary a way to get Absalom's statement, especially if you knew since before Easter that he was scared, right? Because I'm assuming that in the first meeting, Zungu only talked about his father knowing something, right?
Yes.
And I'm also thinking Zungu didn't mention anything about himself in that particular meeting because he was afraid to incriminate himself. Because based on his testimony when he was being led by Baloyi, he mentioned quite a few things that were irregular for a law enforcement officer. He mentioned, driving around in a state car, going to buy alcohol. He mentioned the fact that, he loosely gave his state weapon to someone else to store for him. So so I'm assuming he didn't mention anything because he was afraid to incriminate himself. So he only gave information about his father, right? So if Gininda knew that Absalom was the golden nugget, because it seems like Absalom at the time was the golden nugget, because he didn't know anything about Zungu's involvement as far as I can follow, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
So they had a whole army of police escorting Zungu to court and to KZN and all that stuff. Why couldn't the same be done for Absalom? Where have you ever seen an investigating officer pleading and begging a relative to convince someone to come forward, especially if time is of the essence, right? So, and then he said, on the 13th of November, there was a meeting, and the purpose of the meeting was to follow up Hore, Dintanga Absalom. Basically, Dintanga papa. You know what I mean? What is he doing? And then the second thing was that the purpose was to introduce Harumel because he was the lead senior investigating officer. That's what he's telling us, right? But then I really like how Nxumalo actually asks him a question, knowing the answer to the question. But what he's doing is he's trying to prove that he's not a credible witness. He's asking something that he already knows the answer to. He then says, my favorite moment was when he asked him if he specifically asked Zungu about the incident, and he said no. Then Nxumalo then read this transcript when Zungu was led by Baloyi, and boom, Zungu says, he asked me, and I said I didn't know anything, right? So Zungu's name, so Absalom was a golden nugget until 2020, when Zungu's name came up. That's what he's telling us, through Bo, Oma Kosonge, and Gwabini, and the rest of them people, right? Then he said he started interacting with Zungu again at that time. So my question is, when he started interacting with Zungu at that time, was Zungu a suspect or was he a witness with valuable information? That is the question that I had, because he's not telling us that. On what basis was he interacting with Zungu at that time after getting that information from Makosonke and the rest of the people? Okay? So if Zungu didn't say anything in 2019 when he had multiple opportunities to strengthen his father's statement, why should we believe him as a credible witness who is assisting the court to deliver a just judgment? Gininda's response to this question that I'm asking is that they are relatives. So they must be believed because they are related to each other. Zungu is related to some of the people, the accused persons. Right? But now my question is, on the night of the incident on the 26th, when these guys allegedly came running to the hostel, were there no other people living in the hostel who saw these people? Why is Zungu the only person who saw these people? What about other people who live in room? Did they not see these people? Right? So I will just call by saying, when we go away for Christmas holidays, we really need to be careful, because it seems like if our relatives lie on us and say stuff, by virtue of our relations, we're going to go down. Because it seems like if someone is related to you, everything they say about you is true. Yeah. So it's a problem, because if your sister comes and says you did something,
and they hate
the court must believe your sister because you are related.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So we really need to be careful, because this is dirty, it's disgusting, and I'm in disbelief. The world is in disbelief at what is going on in that court. And this nonsense of the DNA was started by the judge. The judge is the one who started it. He opened the door for further discussion or further debate of the DNA when the expert clearly said excluded. Guys, you're doing a great job. I love you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
you.
Good night.
Highly appreciate you.
Highly appreciate
Love
it.
you so much.
Right. On that note, let me... Mzansi, hello? Zanzi, hello. Okay, we're testing.
Hi, Miss Anno, and this is Emily. Yeah, excuse me. Namhlanje try ukuthi ngibesilulu kancane ngoba njalo uma ngithi ngisaid I was not believing the voice ngathi ilo angezibona mnandi kuba past nami ngivele ngingasazizwa kahle kodwa okay. Firstly, ngilubonga umsebenzi owenzayo obuhle kakhulu. I think TV yethu ufuna ibambane ibe strong manje.
No, I had to laugh at that. Guys, we fast forward your voices. Yeah, we fast forward your voices, guys. Yeah, that's good.
Kodwa nje mistake is states ukwenza yonke into. Okay, I can say state like Bobaloy. Bengifuna ukuba basic kakhulu Baloy. Delay case. Ngamlimaza akabona. Ngoba mangabheka ama defense aba more comfortable and manje bay understand le nto le. He did this cut almost 2 years now. Seba strong over. Ama check up from Ramasipil. Bana that thing there yes but beka good but beka nalapha spaces umnisi izumnisi uthi ungena kanjani izo Nxumalo ungena kanjani usezumisholo lokuseza umngabezu. I don't see them winning and bangikhohla ke urata clever kakhulu mangana notice sahle namagama akhulumayo kanti kancane uphikisana ne state but uzothi makabheka if ever I state siya phansi ngeke ayiphansi naso uzophuma. I mean I still believe namanje but ama results azothamka otherwise not gonna let's pay now kuna something enginotice khuluma but ngelilanga but kuna something enginotice ngalo judge urata is very very smart uyayithanda le game kodwa yeke flow ngalendlela ama reports bangathi yazibeka nalento le ugeninda ngoba lo ubule wengininda ngoba bekacabanga ukuthi geninda umloyo umuntu loyo kodwa mbuke ukuthi phela kanjani uphinda day one uba lo yina yasukume opposite into engazwakali so kahle ayisekho le case ukube nje sinethathe right ngabe tali stopile akuzobizwa abantu abaningi bekela ama defense kuseza ngakhi yama witness labantu bazoyikhakha nga2 yama witness kuphelile. Thanks anyway ngiyabonga.
Yeah, you know, I like the contradiction in this voice notes.
Why?
I like the submission first, but he says towards the end, he's saying judge is smart. The judge is very smart, but he's enjoying this game. So he's not going down with them. Then at the end, it's like, if we had a good judge, this case would be done. This is, yeah, but thank you very much. Your submissions, yes. And I'm hoping the first ones, not the other ones, they come true. I'm hoping for our sake and our health. Right, Dokas Shabalala, thank you. Colin Vadival, thank you. Nolukanyo Ngao, thank you. Sizwe 18, thank you. Kazi, thank you. Lindani Dube, thank you. Sibabalwe, thank you. Ngape, thank you. We appreciate you guys. Slenji Wesibanda Lula Masrai, our member, thank you. Let me see. Mtozis Langa, thank you. Sibusiso Ntsibande, thank you. Mami Funeka, thank you. Siavuya Kabazi, thank you. Spiwe Yingwane, thank you. Let me see. Going up. Slenjiwe, I've mentioned you. I think I have. CD Anamu happy, thank you. We appreciate you guys with your support. Nat, thank you in your contribution. Thank you. Sheshe, thank you with the contribution also. Mayan, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Pamanda, we appreciate you. Yes, and Linden also. Thank you very much with your contribution. MT Darwin, thank you. Right. Hey guys, hey, ama calls ayayizela. Kodwa manje sekuthi angiphume. Khule M, thank you. Nakusasa kuzelitu baba fethu. Really too, but sad. Hey. Okay. Hey madod. Hey kuyakhathaleka. Kodwa ke sizozama bafowethu. Kwela kithi. Thank you Methu Mhlanga, thank you. Dipuo, thank you. Our member. Okay, Siba, we appreciate you. We see you. Siavuya, I've mentioned you. Siavuya. I'm just going through as fast as I can so that telling it as it is. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Right, hey madoda niyafona hey kodwa ke phela ngeke sasa umuntu uzobedwa lapha nidobi inhlanzi officeini hey madoda hey Mbatha Ambrose, thank you. Mo Mahamba, thank you. Siponengu, thank you. We appreciate you. Stock, thank you. We appreciate you. Mukhadi, Modika, thank you. We appreciate you. Hey, angenzivi bafowethu. Vusutando, thank you very much. We appreciate you. Angenzivi bafowethu ukuthi seshayile. Ansike Moyo, thank you. Our moderator, we appreciate you. Daniel, we appreciate you. Nomonde One, we appreciate you. Let's see who is missing. Zanele Njaga, we appreciate you. Ijalo Jindaba. Sikule ndaba yokuthi we appreciate Jim Woodley, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. That's how we are going out once or twice or three times. A lady, we are about to move. Emily?
Yes.
Anything?
I don't have anything to say.
Pusi Kumede, thank you. Laura, our member, thank you very much. Whitson Majaya, thank you. MZ, we appreciate you. Danny, we appreciate you. Tandega Dlamini, we appreciate you. Siyakubona Zama X, we appreciate you. Yes, siyanthanda nje kakhulu. Sithi nje nani niqhubeke nisibambe. CN Phoko, the guys are going down, shame. That is CN Phoko. Hey, sinethemba khona noma sisho le ndaba sinethemba. Iyevala ke manje mzansi. Sithi nje bye.